Um, and I know we had like a few obviously big announcements. We have, Connor Dustin 3 booked for the summer. I believe that's going to be July 10th. I'm assuming that's going to be International Fight Week, so they are probably going to stack that card. We'll obviously get in depth as the time comes, but just initial thoughts. Were you surprised that Dustin took the Connor fight, obviously for the money, over fighting Oliveira for the belt? Because he obviously would be next in line. I feel like Dustin's whole thing is, he, he deserves that belt more than anyone in this division, right? And with Khabib gone, he's probably the second best lightweight, in the planet right now, just according to, rankings, all that stuff, right? Were you surprised he took the trilogy?
Just from a business standpoint, I mean, it makes sense that if you want to make the most money, then that's the fight that you take. I think strategically too, the timing works in his favor with it being so close to the last fight. It doesn't give McGregor a whole lot of time to make any huge adjustments in his game. He's probably going to come out pretty similar to the last fight with, adjustments for the leg kicks and stuff like that. But I think that also works in Poirier's favor in this fight, and that's probably part of the reason why he decided to take it. But yeah, I mean, it is a pretty risky thing because there's no guarantee that he's going to win this fight, and then after that, if he does lose, then he is most likely going to lose, getting a title shot for a little bit. So it is a risky thing, but the trilogy fight had to happen at some point. I think sooner is better for Dustin rather than later. He's going to make a lot of money from it. And yeah, I mean, it's not that bad of a position to be in. It's either title fight, Conor fight. So he's not really making a bad decision either way, so.
Yeah, I think too, it's very, we've never seen Connor get knocked out before. And I'm not saying that it's like a quick turnaround, obviously January to, end of January to July. I think there's definitely some time to kind of recoup there. But like, if you're Dustin, man, you're salivating. Like, you just knocked this man out a few months prior. And I think a lot of people would say that is kind of a quick turnaround for someone that just got knocked out. But man, I'm all in for that. Like, I would do this exact same thing. Like you said, it's either he's getting a belt or he's getting the money fight with Connor, right? And I think there's no one more deserving of a massive payday, not only once but twice, than Dustin Poirier. He just made such a big name for himself. And if he's able to do this again, and if he's able to knock Connor out again, and potentially just take all of Connor's star power. Obviously, Connor will always be the biggest star the UFC's ever seen, but coming off of, really 2 losses back to back, losing the trilogy, like, I don't see Connor stepping back into the ring. I know he's got so many other options. Like, they can throw the Nate Diaz trilogy at him, whatever they want to do. He's definitely a moneymaker, but just for, his confidence, right? Like, getting knocked out back-to-back fights, we'll see what happens. But I am super pumped for the trilogy, because that just means we get to continue seeing Conor McGregor in the octagon. And Dustin will have his time. I do believe that even if Dustin loses this fight, Dustin's always in the mix, because he's a top 3 lightweight in the world. Whatever anyone wants to say, even if Conor beats him in this next fight, he'll be back. I know for a fact he will be. So I agree with you, man. I think it's like a win-win either way for him. So I'm curious. I do think Conor's going to make the adjustments. I think he's, from what I've heard, he trained for the Manny Pacquiao fight, so he was just working his boxing. Obviously, that could be all speculation. It could be all excuses, whatever it is. But I think it's going to be a war. I think it's going to be a decision. And I think it's going to look like the Nate Diaz 2 fight. And it's going to just be an absolute bloodbath, with Conor edging it out. My prediction might change. come June, end of June, getting ready for July. But that's my prediction. What would you say early prediction? I know we're very early, but what would you say if you were to, gun to your head right now, you had to make a prediction?
I don't know. I've been wrong with basically every prediction I've ever made. Dustin, I thought both guys looked great in the last fight. The big difference being the calf kicks, but I thought other than that, it was a pretty even fight in terms of the boxing and the clinch work. Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm gonna say Dustin just because he's been more active. Connor's. I don't even know how many fights he's had in the past couple of years, but Dustin's had the Dan Hooker fight. He just had the McGregor fight. He fought Gaethje, fought Khabib, pretty good. He's just got a lot of time in the ring that Connor was out doing other things, and I think that just allowed him to gain the experience, technique, training, and all that, and just kind of brought him up to Connor's level. So I think it's a pretty even fight still. I think it's gonna be probably the best one out of the three fights that they'll have.
Oh yeah.
But I think Dustin's just his toughness and how far he's come. I think I might go with Dustin on this one.
Yeah, the whole world will be watching that one. That one's going to break just a ton of records. A Conor McGregor trilogy, of course. People are going to pay for that, so I can't wait. It's in July, so we're a few months away from that, but I'm hoping for an absolute war there. Shout out McGregor, shout out Poirier. I cannot wait for that one. Another massive fight that I think came out of left field, and Nate Diaz stepping in to face Leon Edwards at UFC 262. To me, very random. Obviously, Leon Edwards coming off of the controversial eye poke of Bilal Muhammad. People didn't know if he was running it back. People didn't know if he was getting a title shot after that. He's fighting Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz, coming up to welterweight, right? And Nate Diaz I think he's been more inactive than friggin' Conor McGregor. You know what I mean? Nate just kind of sits back, picks his fights, comes back whenever he feels like it. And I guess he just felt like fighting Leon Edwards. So I'm curious to get your just like initial thoughts on that fight, like trying to wrap your head around it. And then give me a super early prediction. I know that one's coming at the end of May. So not as far away as we think, but like, give me an early prediction here.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen a whole lot of either guy. We saw maybe a round and a half of Leon a couple of weeks ago, and he looked really good. He was in great shape. He was, had Muhammad rocked in that first round early. Striking looked really good. But yeah, Nate Diaz, he's tough. He charges forward, and he's tough to get out of there. It's just he cuts so easily, and I think if Leon's able to pick his shots the way he was, cuts Nate, could be some type of stoppage. But I don't think Leon knocks him out. I don't think he definitely doesn't submit him. I don't think he finishes him anyway. I think it's either a decision or a stoppage by cut.
Yeah, that was pretty spot on. I didn't understand. I really didn't understand that. Leon actually went on to Ariel Helwani today and said like, oh, like all the respect he has for Nate and how tough he is and how tough this fight's going to be. So I think Leon just wanted a big name. I think he knows that he's not next in line. But I think he knows that if he beats Nate Diaz and he beats him up, he's going to gain that respect again. He's been out for so long, taking out a guy like Nate Diaz, who's, a legend, a moneymaker, he brings in the pay-per-view buys. I think Leon can show that like he's a top tier fighter. And then I think that puts him next in line for a title fight. I know it makes zero sense, but like I think in his mind, like beating Nate is that next stepping stone for him to get those bigger fights, right? So I'm excited for this one, man, because both these guys are super exciting. Obviously, Nate, like I'm gonna watch every goddamn Nate Diaz fight. He's so durable. He gets cut in every fight, even if he just gets, someone just friggin' blows on him, right? Like he's just a savage to watch. Obviously, coming off of the loss to Jorge Masvidal, where a lot of people were just like, they should have given them the 4th and 5th round, see what he could have done. Doctor stoppage, which was unfortunate, but losing his BMF belt. But everyone knows Nate Diaz will always be a BMF. So that one's fun because they added that onto the already stacked UFC 262 card as the co-main event, which is 5 rounds too. So if that's something the UFC wants to continue with, is the 5-round co-mains, I'm for that, especially for the big fights like this. I am all for that. So again, another one I cannot wait to see. UFC 262 right around the corner. I'm fired up about Leon Edwards taking on Nate Diaz. And in other news too, I think a pretty big signing that had the MMA world talking. The UFC signed Cage Warriors star Paddy Pimblett. Shout out Patty. I think he tried chirping us on our Instagram a few years back when he was trying to fight Joe Giannetti, and that fell through because of weight and all that. But Paddy Pimblett, he's, kind of this Conor McGregor-esque personality, coming in hot. They signed him last week. He's calling out everyone, saying he's going to be a double champ. What'd you think of this signing? Obviously, this kid's exciting. Got some great wins, great on the ground. Not the best striking in the world, but we've seen him mix it up on the feet. What do you think about the signing, and what do you think the UFC is going to do? Do you think they're going to start him off with a potential, someone like big name that he can, maybe like a vet that he can come in and beat, make a name for himself that propel him into the top 15? How do you think the UFC is going to do with him? The kid's young, so I don't think they're going to rush him, but like, I'm curious to hear what you think of the signing, and who do you think he should fight?
Yeah, I mean, anytime there's an undefeated fighter in another organization, especially Cage Warriors, it seems like they pull a lot of talent out of that one promotion. It just seemed like a matter of time. As long as he kept on winning, he was gonna get a chance at the UFC. So makes sense. You obviously want to pull the best fighters in the world. And if they're not losing, there's something there. But yeah, he's a champion of the promotion. And now I know that they signed someone else from Cage Warriors, and I forget the kid's name right now. But I'm assuming they'll probably do the same type of thing where they'll just kind of ease them into it, just kind of get their feet wet, because UFC is just a whole different stage. I mean, with COVID right now, there's no fans, but it's just a whole different atmosphere. So fighting's one thing, like the talent that you have to fight, but everything else that comes along with it makes it a lot different of an experience. So we'll see how he deals with it all. But yeah, like you said, he's young, so I'm assuming that they'll groom him, they'll ease him into the whole process and see how he does.
We'll see. He's coming in hot, right? And he's got like a loud personality, so I'm curious to see. I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on him the first time he fights, and I wouldn't be surprised if honestly they throw him into a big pay-per-view like early. I'm not saying he's going to be on the main card or anything like that, but I think we could see him headlining a prelim or something like that. Again, that brash personality, and the kid has a lot of big wins. Very good on the ground. So I'm curious to see, and he's fought in both the featherweight and the lightweight division. So I'm curious to see where he's going to start off. There's a lot of killers in the featherweight division. Let's hope that Dana White doesn't throw him to a savage like, Shane Burgos or, Emmett or whoever. I think they're going to ease him into it. They want him to rack up a couple wins. We'll see what the hell happens. But That was obviously a really big signing. One of the bigger signings, and I'd say in recent years, obviously when we talk about like Ben Askren, that was like a super huge announcement. I think Paddy Pimblett coming to the UFC is honestly one of the bigger announcements here too. What are some other fights? We'll do some quick predictions here. What are a few other fights that got announced?
Some other ones, we got Korean Zombie versus Dan Ige.
Oh my God,
That's going to be on June 19th. That's a fight night. So that'll be a fun one.
That's a potential fight of the year, right? Like there's no way that one could be boring.
Yeah. I don't think so at all.
Korean Zombie coming off the loss to Ortega, Dan Ige coming off of just that first round destruction. Fucking one of the knockout of the year contenders right there. My God, that's gonna be a fun one. I don't even know an early prediction. I think Zombie overwhelms him, but after seeing Zombie in his last performance, I don't know. Seeing Ige in his last, even Ige's performance against Cater, he still put up a friggin' great fight against Calvin Cater, one of the best in the world. Ige is one of those up and comers, man. He went from prospect to contender, right? Like,
yeah,
Ige is a savage, but Korean Zombie, they don't call him Korean Zombie for a reason. You cannot get this guy out of there. I'm not even making a prediction. One of the fights of the year happening on, what'd you say, June 19th?
June 19th. Yep.
What do you think about that one? Quick prediction if you got one.
Quick prediction. Yeah, I mean, Zombie's super accurate. He's got a ton of knockouts on his record. Dan Ige, he just looks better and better every time we see him. Even in the Keita fight, he was in it the whole time. I mean, Keita kind of ran away with it towards the end, but he was still fighting, still coming forward. Really, really durable. And then, his last fight, we saw the knockout power that he has in his hands. So I think it's going to be an awesome fight. Early prediction, might go a Zombie. Might go a Zombie on this one. I think he's going to be a little too accurate for him.
Tough to not pick against Korean Zombie. I know. I don't know if people were writing him off after that loss to Ortega, but Zombie is still one of the scariest dudes in the friggin' world. So I cannot wait for that one. I'm calling it right now. One of the fights of the year. It just has to be. So I cannot wait. June 19th. Let's go. What else? I know we had a few other ones. We'll give quick predictions on those as well.
I got Cyril Gane versus Volkov. That's going to be another. Well, actually, that might even be on the same card. I'm not sure. But they get that for card? June. Damian Maia versus Bilal Muhammad for UFC 263.
Perfect. And go ahead. What was the last one?
Last one, we have RDA's calling out Gaethje. Ooh. So that there's nothing signed there, nothing official with that one, but that's kind of being circulated around the media.
Gane Volkov, great fight. I think that's an awesome fight to really propel Cyril Gane into that like title picture. Bilal Muhammad, Damian Maia, great fight. Bilal Muhammad deserves a big fight after that Leon Edwards one, so I'm glad he's getting his due. What do you think about Gaethje RDA? Like, not a fight I think Gaethje will take, but that'd be a fun one. That would be a fucking fun one.
Yeah. No, I mean, RDA went up to 170 for a little bit and then came back down. And I'm trying to think his last, it was Felder.
He beat up
right?
Paul Felder. Yeah, he beat up Felder pretty good.
Yeah. Yep. And I couldn't believe the way he looked. He looked like like his old self. I think 155 is his home. He looked incredible. So I think a Gaethje fight with that type of RDA, I think that's fight of the year type of fight. But yeah, I mean, Gaethje's right at the top of the division. RDA's got one fight at 155 in recent memory. So for Gaethje, I don't think the fight makes a whole lot of sense. For RDA, it makes a ton of sense to catapult them up the rankings. But Gaethje's he's got no one to go with. He's just going to be doing a lot of waiting around, and I don't know. Now, I don't know what he'll end up deciding on doing. I know he loves the fight, but he does also feel like he deserves, you know, higher ranked opponents or a title fight. So see what happens, but I think it's a great fight.
My God, I mean, who is more underrated than Rafael dos Anjos? The laundry list of just killers that this man has fought his entire career has been like nothing short of crazy in both weight classes. Like lightweight, he's a former champ. I think people forget that this guy is a former champion, that he beat the fuck out of Anthony Pettis, right, to win the belt. Um, that he went up a division and literally beat on guys like Neil Magny, Robbie Lawler, right? And then in the lightweight division, he literally fought everyone, man. Like he fought Eddie Alvarez, fought Tony Ferguson, fought Kevin Lee, Chiesa, Felder. Like this dude, Cerrone, Khabib, like no one has a better, right? He hasn't won all of them, don't get me wrong, but the guy has 30 professional wins. He is so fun to watch. It's so hard to put him away. And you got a guy like Gaethje who is an absolute wild man. I want to see how he comes back from this Khabib loss. I want to get him back into the octagon. I miss watching the highlight. I miss watching him do backflips off the octagon, and I just miss the madness in there when Justin Gaethje fights. I need that energy, and I agree with you, man. I think RDA versus Gaethje, although it may not make sense, I mean, we're not getting a lightweight title fight until late May, so that will kind of determine a lot of things. But is Gaethje really next in line if Conor and Dustin are realistically fighting for that number one spot? So Gaethje's just going to be sitting out. Why not take a fun fight? You got your chance at the belt. I'm not saying Gaethje can never get back to that, but why not prove? Like, I just think coming off losses, getting a title shot is just weird to me. I think you definitely need to build yourself back up. Trust me, that's why I don't like agree with any of the Jorge stuff, but it is what it is. It's money. Gaethje RDA, book that. I know Dan Hooker was calling out RDA because Dan Hooker doesn't have a dance partner either. But I mean, RDA is a big name, man. He's kind of that stepping stone. I don't want to call him a gatekeeper, but his whole career after he lost the belt, that's what he's kind of been considered. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all, but like you beat RDA and you always get propelled into that title shot or whatever that is. So, I mean, look at Colby Covington. He won the friggin' interim belt off of RDA. So I love that fight. If, you know, I'm taking Gaethje in that fight, but that's a fun, that's a war. I don't think Gaethje, I can't say that. You know, Eddie Alvarez put away Rafael dos Anjos, but I think it's going to be fun. Leg kicks, the striking is just going to be unreal. The grappling is going to be unreal in that one. And I think it's going to be a goddamn war if that happens. Do I think it does? Who knows? Gaethje, I want to see Gaethje back. He's been out too long. I miss friggin' Justin. So I'm excited for that one. But what else? Do we have any other announcements over the week or no? I think that might have been it, right?
Yeah. There's some smaller ones, but those are pretty much all the big ones.
Yeah, those are the
Be
big
looking
ones.
for.
So a lot coming in just the next couple months in terms of UFC. I know Bellator is doing some big things, although they're doing it at kind of like a smaller scale. The MMA world is absolutely bumping right now with, you know, the Bellator Grand Prix going on, all the UFC stuff. What do you got?
I just saw today that they're working on. This is rumored that they're working on Derek Lewis and Ngannou.
So I saw that too. I heard that Francis said no because it's too quick of a turnaround for him. And
Okay.
apparently they're kicking the tires on the John Jones fight. So Francis wants like towards the end of the summer, apparently. But apparently that was offered to him. Derek Lewis said yes already. But Francis turned it down because it says he's not enough time. So, I mean, it doesn't seem like this Jones fight is happening. He came out the other day saying he wants $50 million to fight Francis Ngannou. His coach is like, he deserves the 50 million. John Winklejohn. I'm like, I don't know. I get he wants to get paid. He's one of the greatest of all time, but I don't think this fight's going to happen. I think Derek Lewis, Francis Ngannou 2 will happen at the end of the summer. And quick prediction there: if this happens, Ngannou's taking his head off. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't think he's going to be shy in this one. He's got a lot to prove, and I think that will be his first title defense. Do you agree?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I mean, they both got the knockout power to knock each other out. They're both kind of the same style type fighters. They're both heavy hands, good striking. Um, don't necessarily have the best cardio. Um, yeah, I mean, they're not going to be working for takedowns. They're not going to be, most likely won't be clinching up. Um, yeah, and then I guess when it comes down to throwing hands, no one's beat Ngannou. So
Nope.
so yeah, I think I would have to go Francis on that one. But Derek Lewis definitely has a chance. Definitely has a chance in that one.
Yeah, you can never count the Black Beast out. He's proven that time and time again. We just saw it against Curtis Blades after he was getting beat up the whole round, and he just uppercut from hell. We saw it in the Volkov fight. He literally lost all 3 rounds until the last 10 seconds, knocks him out on the the Conor McGregor Khabib cards. That's really where he made like the name for himself there. Can never count this man out. So guys, so many good fights happening in the next few months heading into the summer here. I mean, the whole UFC schedule isn't even set yet. That's how exciting this year has been. I am so excited, and keep up to date with all MMA news on our website, www.flatlinemma.com. Guys, continue pouring into our Instagram. You guys are showing us so much love. I believe we just hit 15.1K followers on Instagram. You guys are the best. Continue commenting, liking, sharing, to doing our polls, anything to keep engagement up there, guys. Go to our website, buy our merch, click that subscribe button on our YouTube. We're trying to blow this up. We're trying to give you bigger, better content on the YouTube videos. Doing a lot with editing, trying to make the best videos for you guys out there. Go buy some merch, support the boys, and until next time, Flatline MMA.
Peace.